Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It seems like forever since I've done an update or a video. Life has just been super busy with the newborn. If you're new here, my name's Jacqueline and I have a newborn named Violet. She was born on July 5th. She came about 5 weeks early, so she did spend some time in the NICU. This video, I just wanted to kind of talk about postpartum and what's been going on and things I wish I knew that I didn't read about prior or see any videos about. So I do have a list right here. I just wanted to share a couple of things, and especially for myself in case I want to look back one day before I do it all over again with our next child. So first off, I did go home the day after I gave birth. So I had to share a room with somebody because they were really crowded, and that was just uncomfortable being there. And because our daughter was in the NICU, I just decided to go home the day after I gave birth. And so people were a little surprised, but I was just more comfortable at home. So another thing was we did go to the NICU every day to see our daughter multiple times a day. So that was really taxing on us. We were extremely tired, but we just had to make it to see her for her feedings and get updates and everything like that. And that was probably the most difficult thing, was giving birth and having to leave our daughter behind at the hospital. Emotionally, it was really, really difficult for me. I didn't take it very well. I did cry a lot, and it was just hard to say goodbye to her every single time we did leave the hospital. And because she was in the NICU, I felt like I was a little more detached to her. You know, she was in the care of a lot of nurses and doctors, and I didn't get to have that bonding experience with her right after birth. She was taken shortly after. They did let me do some skin to skin, but they did take her. So that was a lot to take that I wasn't expecting. In regards to postpartum things that I didn't know about, number one, the first pee that I had to do was extremely, extremely painful. Like, I read stories about your first bowel movement being terrible and scary. I think going pee was a lot worse than the bowel movement. I was on stool softeners, and I actually did have a bowel movement the day after, and it wasn't that bad. In regards to going pee, though, again, was terrible, and I'm sure it's because of the catheter, but it was really painful, and it was painful for a few days after as well. So take note of that. Another thing was bleeding. So I'm a little over 6 weeks, and I'm still spotting. So bleeding was really heavy, of course, in the first week or two. I lived on Depends, like the women's Depends. Like, the doctor and nurses thought it was silly because I actually went into the hospital when my water broke. I put on a pair of Depends because I was just leaking everywhere, and they thought it was hilarious and smart at the same time. But probably one of the best purchases, because they give you that stretchy underwear with like a potty pad looking thing with these long pads that are not even that sticky, and they give you all these things at the hospital. But to be honest, it was not very practical. There were like layers and layers of things, and it just wasn't working out, and it felt like I was wearing a diaper. So I might as well just wear Depends. So I do suggest that if you're interested. Another thing was my weight. So for those of you that have been following for a while, I started out around 220 pounds. I got diagnosed with gestational diabetes and lost weight. I was about I don't exactly remember, 210 or 211 when I gave birth. So I actually had lost, give or take, 10 pounds throughout my whole pregnancy. Didn't gain any weight. When I got home, I freaked out because I weighed myself maybe a day or two after giving birth, and I was like 224. So I had gained all my weight back plus 4 pounds. And I was like so sad and so disappointed, and I was just didn't know what was going on. And shortly after, maybe the next day, the swelling started. So all the water weight and all the IV fluids and just whatever's going on with your body, I did not know it was going to be that bad. My legs, my feet, my toes, my fingers, like everything swelled up so bad. I could feel my skin stretching. It was so painful and like irritating. My husband was concerned. He was telling me to elevate my legs because they were just blowing up, and that's what all the weight was from. So I did not know that was going to happen so bad. And so just warning you that right after birth, you're going to start swelling. So, anyways, after that, I weighed myself and I did go back down. And currently, 6 weeks postpartum, I am 194 pounds. So I am so happy and so proud of myself that I've been able to slowly lose weight. I did splurge. If you don't know, I had gestational diabetes, so I didn't get to eat a ton of things during my pregnancy. So I did go down the list of things I wanted, like fettuccine alfredo, a donut, and things like that. And I did splurge a little, but now I'm back on track in regards to eating healthier. So I am 194 pounds, and I hope to be able to continue to lose weight and hopefully start my next pregnancy, whenever that may be, at a healthier weight. Couple of other things I just wanted to say was pumping. So I have been pumping since I gave birth because my daughter was in the NICU. She was formula fed right away, and I just pumped and pumped. And so we do a little bit of both. It's usually about 80% bottle, 20% boob right now. And pumping takes so much time and so much energy. I don't know how people do this with multiple children, because I pump about every 2 to 3 hours, and our daughter wakes up about every 2 to 3 hours. So with feeding her and pumping and cleaning, by the time I'm done, like, she's up in an hour. So I just nap now. There's no such thing as sleeping anymore. I'm very thankful. My husband helps me a ton. But sleeping, they weren't kidding when they say that you're going to lose sleep. But it's okay. It's worth it. But be warned if you are going to pump and need to keep your supply up, because I make enough for our daughter, but I don't make a ton. I'm not an oversupplier. So I do have to pump every 2 3 hours, or my milk will start diminishing slowly. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was postpartum depression. So I thought I was fine the first couple of weeks, and then around week 4 or week 5, I started to get really emotional, and I wasn't sure why. And I was crying. I was just really sad and depressed. And so I just wanted to put it out there that if you start feeling that way, get help, talk to somebody, and just realize that it is your hormones. And I'm starting to feel a little better, but I am going to talk to the doctor and see if it's of any concern. We have a lot going on in regards to our business and work on top of having a newborn. So I think it's just a lot happening at once. So my hormones and emotions are all over the place. But anyway, sorry, this video has gotten really long, but I just wanted to share. The next video I want to do is going to be must-haves, and so newborn must-haves. So if you're interested, look out for that. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.